What is an energetic blockage and how does it affect our well-being? Hey beautiful souls, welcome. It's always a blessing to connect with you. I'm Dani, this is Heal What Ails You, and I help people awaken the healer within them. So beautiful souls, today we're going to be talking about energetic blockages, how they form, what are they, how it affects our well-being, and what we can do about it. So when I refer to an energetic blockage, essentially I'm referring to our shadow self, our suppressed trauma, our suppressed feelings. Now, how does that look in an energetic way when I'm talking about specifically an energetic blockage? Now we have this energetic wheelhouse down our body. It travels down our spine. There are 7 main wheelhouses of energy here known as the 7 main chakras. Now each chakra is associated with a physical aspect of ourselves, such as it operates an organ or a lymphatic system, our nervous system, some type of anatomical response. And then it also affects our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So these chakras need to be balanced and in flow in order for us to have health, homeostasis, well-being, showing up as our authentic self. But what happens when we have a blockage? So essentially you can look at this energetic system as like a straw throughout the center of your body, or let's say like a plumbing line throughout the center of your body. Now, when everything's good, when we're in flow, we're happy, we're healthy, the body feels good, we feel good about ourselves, we're doing what we want, we show up as who we are, everything's grand, right? Because that energy is just moving through us. Well, when we have suppressed emotions or have this blockage, what happens is, think of a drain. So, you know, when the drain or the plumbing in the shower is running fine, the water's just moving through, right? It's flowing. Well, let's say you have all this hair in the drain and it begins to clog it up. Essentially, the water can't get through, right? The water begins to stand still in the bottom of your tub. So our energetic blockages are essentially like the hair clog in your shower, in your shower plumbing. It decreases the good energy that can get through to bring you health and wealth and your authentic self. Now, how do we obtain energetic blockages? Essentially through trauma. Now we can have trauma in a young childhood, we can have trauma in adulthood, and the trauma can be very small or very large. Trauma is essentially considered anything that causes us pain on a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual level. So it could be something as little as, you know, somebody making fun of the way that you look, to something as large as an accident where you've broken a bone, or domestic violence. You know, there's really no gauge. It's a wide spectrum. So when we experience a trauma, let's say that we've had an argument with our spouse or a family member, and this has really hurt us, and there was some issues with communication, maybe it's over a past experience, but we feel angry or jealous or sad, you know, upset in all these ways. Well, in a perfect world, we get to deal with it and feel those emotions, and then we communicate with the spouse or the family member about what's transpiring. We hear each other out, we come to a mutual conclusion, and it's cleared, okay? We don't have that trauma. But if we are not able to do that, and that is what happens most in this world, I believe, then we begin to suppress it. So let's say that you had this argument with your spouse or with a family member, but you've got to go into work. So here you are and you feel angry and you feel sad and you're upset, and You know, you just want to scream and yell and strangle somebody, but you've got to go to work. And when you go to work, you know that it's not socially acceptable, so little ego here, to be angry and upset and want to strangle somebody when you're at work. You know that you need to be at your best and you need to show up and get the job done. So what this does is tell us that our feelings are not valid, and we swallow it. We kind of push that down and we tell ourselves we're okay, we're okay, we're okay, we're okay, when really we are not. So we go to work and we put on this little show, this mask of the ego, and we say we're fine and we get our work done. Well, then what happens? Well, in my experience, you come home and the next few days you're walking around and you're slamming the cabinet doors and you're huffing and you're puffing and nothing's going right, everything's going wrong, and we're not really actually talking and working through whatever it is. Nor are we just choosing to sit down and feel those emotions, feel that anger, feel that sadness, feel that betrayal, feel that mistrust, whatever it is. So when we suppress the feelings, we develop what is called our shadow selves. That is the part of us that we don't want people to see. For instance, when you went to work, you didn't want people to see that you were angry, that you were sad, that you were hurting. So the ego stepped in and said, this isn't socially acceptable. So in order to protect you, we're going to pretend everything is okay. Now that you have created the shadow or added to our shadow and suppressed these feelings get sent into our energetic system. When you send them down, when we don't let them out, when we don't express it, they get pushed into whichever chakra it fits into, whichever chakra center that emotion agrees with, and it may be just one or it may be multiple. And now that we have this bigger energetic blockage, how does this affect us in life? Well, depending on the energetic blockage, we can begin to have physical symptoms. So if it gets pushed to something that pertains to our self-esteem, like the solar plexus, maybe we're going to have upset stomach or stomach complications throughout the next few days. If it gets pushed to our heart center, we can begin to have like chest pain and high blood pressure, difficulty breathing, maybe like panic attack feeling. Over a period of time, this can create chronic disease. What this blockage also does is, since this is considered our shadow self, our skeletons in the closet, our unseen dirt, our unseen feelings, is the ego can step in and use this against us in the future. So this means you're fine, you're going throughout your day, maybe you run into somebody that reminds you of that person that caused pain and, you know, cause that trauma essentially. Maybe you run into a similar experience. Well, then when we act in a catastrophic way, we act in a really severe way, maybe we get really physical or emotional, maybe we have a mental breakdown, maybe we aren't really seeing the situation for what it is because it's reminding us of that past trauma. So traumas decrease our coping mechanism and decrease our self-worth. And so this is how that trauma resurfaces. We begin to play out the scenario of the initial trauma again and again and again and again throughout our lives until we are able to clear it, until we are able to deal with it. So how can we deal with this trauma? How can we deal with these energetic blockages? How can we deal with our shadow self? Well, let's think of what the shadow looks like. You know, the shadow's there, it's kind of scary, right? But when you shine a light on your shadow, like on the ground or wherever it's at, the shadow goes away, right? Let's go back to that plumbing situation you've got with your shower. If you get in and you clean out the clogged hair, you begin to flow. That water leaves the tub. It's draining better, right? So with these energetic blockages, with this shadow self, in order to prevent reliving the trauma over and over, in order to prevent or clear out the physical illness, the mental illness, the emotional issue that's associated with the trauma, we need to do what is called shadow work. Now, shadow work is essentially just shining a light on the issue. So that may be some talk therapy for you, where you can go in and really get to the root core of why you feel angry all the time, why you have trust issues, why you don't have belief in yourself or don't feel that you're self-worthy. But since this is an energetic issue, I feel that it is best dealt with on an energetic level. So that may mean going and getting some type of energy work, such as acupuncture or Reiki. Both are wonderful and really gentle modalities that are going to help release what is held up in each chakra point, held up within that shadow self. Now, once we begin to release these energies and the flow can come in more, then we develop a better coping mechanism. So when we do run into familiar situations, we're able to say, you know what, this is a familiar situation, but it's a different situation, so we can take it for what it is and really be present and act on it as in the now. And we have the ability to know that we are able to actually feel the pain, you know, not to suppress it, to just sit and feel it. If you need to cry, sit down and cry. If you need to scream, sit down and scream. If you feel like you're going to strangle somebody or need to strangle somebody, you know, you can grab a pillow and strangle it. Don't suppress that emotion. And for lots of us, we have a pretty large shadow that we've developed within our life, and you know, we just continue to let the ego feed it and relive these past experiences when we do not express our feelings and when we do not shine light on the ego. Beautiful souls, I hope this explained what an energetic blockage is, what is shadow work essentially, and what we can do about our energetic blockages. So beautiful souls, let me know what you think about this. Remember that you are not alone. We're in this together. If you found this video helpful, I'd be very grateful for a thumbs up and a subscribe if you want to keep coming back. I post videos every day. And until next time, there's nothing but love and light here. Nothing but love and light.